everyone, Rob here from Plymouth Music Zone. Hope you're well, hope you've had a good week. We're going to continue looking at different samba instruments today and inviting you to take part by submitting your samba remotely, that we can make we can cut together a video of us all playing samba together. So I'll link in the description of to a video where you can find out how to do that. And today we're going to look at the Surdo part called Terceira. So last week we looked at the first two Surdo parts. We looked at Primero and Segundo, and they had this kind of plodding rhythm, which is very appropriate considering that you walk with samba. So the big Surdos are going dun 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 dun, and it really sets the groundwork for everything. It acts like a bass line for samba. So yeah, today we're looking at Terceira. So excitingly, I've heard that some people are making instruments to play samba on. So we're talking about, if you don't have a drum, maybe you can find something that resonates or makes a good sound that you could use instead. Or if you're very clever like that and you can make something, then that's a great idea too. I can't make stuff, I'm terrible at it. Rather, I'll just leave making a drums to other people, because I think it would be a proper disaster if you let me make a drum. Anyway, so Terceira. It's very similar to the Primero part, and the Primero part started on a mute tone. So we have those two tones. We have a mute tone and an open tone. The mute, it doesn't have to be silent. It is, you can use the kind of quiet percussive sound of the instrument being stopped as a feature. You can use it as a tool to add a bit more groove into what you're playing. Like even on those slower parts, you sort of feel an implied beat sometimes, and you can add some kind of details, even though you're keeping it really simple. So yeah, a mute tone, and then the open tone is where the instrument is reading free. So yeah, start the same way as Primero. So you start with a mute, and then there's a note, but instead of there being one note, there's two. So that's what we want for Terceira, whereas on Primero it was Terceira. And if you're counting in, you go, samba is strictly speaking in two. I'll try and stay in two. Quite a few of the patterns, this one included actually, they go across 2 bars of 2. It doesn't really matter if you know what I'm talking about. If you do know what I'm talking about, hopefully you appreciate it, or it doesn't really matter. But yeah, sometimes I end up feeling that as, rather than 2 short bars, I feel it as a 1 long bar, because this is a 2-bar pattern when you're thinking in 2/4. Anyway, let's not worry too much about that, because it is actually a simple pattern we've got here. So the first half of the pattern goes mute, open, open. And like I said, if you're counting into it, you're going 1, 2, 1, 2. That's half the pattern done. Easy, right? Second half. Okay, so not quite so easy this time, although it's the same overall shape of pattern in that it starts with a mute tone, and the mute tone is the same amount of time as the mute tone was on the first half of the pattern. So the first half was, steady. So the first half of the first pattern is the same as the first half of the second pattern. Just like that. And then the slightly more complicated, rather than playing the second time round is. So the way to think about this is semiquavers. We had the one had a way of saying the rhythms. So it was 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. So what we've got on that more complicated part of the rhythm is, because we're halfway through the second bar, so it goes 1 E and A, 1 E and A, 1 E and A, 1 E, A. And then you're immediately back, because because we played that ah, one E and ah, we're immediately following that with that mute tone that we had before. I started muting there with the other hand, and part of the reason for that was just the speed of playing that open tone and coming in for a mute. Just think about what's going to be more comfortable. If you can use the other hand to mute, maybe that's an idea here with that such small gap in time that we're dealing with. But yeah, that is the pattern: mute, open, open, mute, open, 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 mute, open, open, mute. Let's have it in tempo. So I've got the metronome up here on Google. So I hope that makes some kind of sense. The Terceira part is, depending on the context, it can be much more improvisational. So we've taught it there as one pattern, and in truth that's a pattern that you just keep in your filing cabinet of Terceira parts, and then it's kind of a tool in the toolbox that you can use as and when, mixed in with other patterns and improvisations. So there's no need to, because I want lots of people to contribute to this, that's why we're just doing the one. But if you, depending on the band you're playing Samba with, it might just be worth bearing in mind that this is not the Terceira part, it's just a Terceira part. Right, I'm going to have a go at demonstrating a bit more of the feel that you might get with the Terceira that's playing a bit more freely. So this is just for reference purposes, but yeah, I hope it goes well. And yeah, I'll leave you with this, so have a good week, see you next time, and again, I haven't decided what to cover next, so fun times, be a surprise for you. Take care.